Welcoming you to Asian Horror Net channel. The real horror story about Karak Highway, Malaysia. The Karak Highway that connects Kuala Lumpur to Genting Highlands is one of the creepiest highways in Malaysia. Karak Highway was first built in 1970 and first opened to the public in 1977. This highway connects Kuala Lumpur to Karak and about 60.0 kilometers away. This highway has a pair of tunnels in the famous resort of Genting Highlands. Among the most popular is an accident on January 20, 1990, in which 17 people were killed. Many motorists reported meeting this ghostly car, only at night. It was said that the yellow Volkswagen will block your lane. First it will move very slowly, forcing you to overtake it. Once you have overtaken it and continued moving along, you will notice the same yellow Volkswagen in front of you. It'll drive very slowly, once again challenging you to overtake it again. They say if you look closely in the car, you would notice that there is no one in the driver's seat. If you see the yellow Volkswagen on the Karak Highway, it's best not to overtake it as it will keep reappearing in front of you, potentially luring you into an accident. If you're lucky, it would speed up and disappear into the darkness. One night, a local radio station received a chilling call from a listener. The DJ listened attentively as the man on the line told his story. He said he was driving on the highway and met with a horrible accident. His car fell down a ravine by the highway. In the car with him were his mother, father, wife and children. He sounded depressed, speaking of how he saw his family members die. The saddest thing, he said, was that he saw himself die. Then, the line went dead. The radio DJ tried calling back, but not available. He and most of the radio listeners brushed it off as a prank call. On next day, newspapers reported that there was an accident at the very same location where the man on the line had mentioned. A car fell into the ravine by the Karak Highway. A couple, their parents and children all died in the crash. The details matched the story told by the mysterious man. Legend says the radio DJ rushed back to the office to listen to the recording of that call, but all that was left on the tape was eerie silence. There have been sightings of a pontianak flying on the highway at night. The pontianak is believed to be a woman who had died of childbirth and harbors immense hatred and anger. She preys on men and is said to tear their organs apart. Pontianak could come in the form of a beautiful young woman in white to seduce the men. Some motorists claim to have seen a beautiful woman on the highway, who could sometimes make heads turn and she could be by the side of the road, asking for a lift. No one really knows whether it involves a ghost, or an actual murderer. Whatever it is, when you are traveling along Karak Highway, stop for any chance. And, the best, don't travel alone or at night. If you see a schoolboy wandering on the side of the dark and lonely highway, looking lost and desolated, be careful. The boy would be looking for his mother, asking, "Have you seen my mother?" over and over again. As the legend goes, there was once an accident that involved a young boy and his mother. The mother, who was driving, was flung out of the car on impact while the son remained in the passenger seat. The windscreen and glass pierced into his eyes. He lost his mother, and until today, it is said that he is still wandering the highway in search of his mama. It was the festive season and just like any other Malaysian, a young couple and their baby were traveling on the Karak Highway at night headed home. Everything was fine until they reached a lonely stretch on the highway and their car broke down. The husband was surprised, He made sure to service the car before their going hometown trip. He stopped the car by the side of the road to check the engine while his wife and baby waited inside. He tried fixing the car, but nothing worked. And so he waited, hoping a kind Samaritan would stop and offer them help. It is going hometown season after all, there should be cars passing by. However, 20 minutes passed and there was not a soul to be seen. As it was getting late, the only choice he had left was to go to the nearest phone booth to call for help. He was worried, but he had no choice but to leave his family waiting alone in the car. "Lock the doors and take care," he told his wife before leaving. She watched as he walked away, trying to ignore her worries. Minutes passed and soon hours, but her husband was still gone. She waited and waited. Suddenly, a police patrol car approached her. 2 policemen got out of the car and walked towards her vehicle. They told her to quietly step out of the vehicle and stressed that she should not look around while she did so. The wife carried her baby and walked with the policemen. When she was at a safe distance, she looked back at her car and blood drained from her face. Her husband's bodiless head was lying on top of the car. Other versions say her husband was headless on the car, with a banshee-like creature feasting on him. It had banged on the car roof. She did not hear a thing. Karak Highway is notoriously known as the haunted highway of Malaysia until now.